GPS.
Section 3. Building Muscle. The Nesiv Shalom says, Hanasayon hu rak b'shvil legadlon, shahanasayon gufa megadol eisanu. Challenges are sent to us only in order to make us grow. Chapter 14. Not a test, a challenge. A challenge is the vehicle to carry you to a higher destination. The Sfas says, Ki al yidei nisayon mis'ale ha'adam l'madrega elyoina, ki nisa hu lashon harama k'may su'u nes. For through challenges, a person rises to a higher level. Hashem created the world with a built-in system for personal growth. The Medrash in Bereshis Rabbah says, Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu mala sa'adam l'srara, ad sheboichen u'vaydik oisay tchila, v'kivin shehu oimed b'nisyaynai, hu mala oisay l'srara. Hashem does not elevate a person to a higher level without challenging him first. But once the person proves his dedication to Hashem by overcoming his tailor-made challenge, Hashem then raises him to a higher level. You can never grow, and you can certainly never achieve your true potential unless you are properly challenged. Whether you choose to become a rabbi, a doctor, lawyer, accountant, plumber, electrician, or even a lifeguard, you will only receive your degree after you work hard and pass the test. The more difficult it is for you to pass the test, the more elated and accomplished you will feel when you hold the diploma in your hands. Let's roll back the tape and go back way to the beginning, to the first Jew ever. In an era when the entire world was bowing down to pagan idols, one young lad opened his eyes and recognized that there must be a creator. One young boy stood up against his entire family, his city, and the entire world. One man went on a life quest to discover the true God and to develop a close relationship with him. Now, we would all imagine that Hashem would have been so thrilled, so to speak, that someone finally discovered him, that he would quickly shower this person with the easiest life imaginable. He would quickly be whisked away to Jamaica with $1 billion deposited directly into his bank account in order to relax for the rest of his life in comfort and tranquility. And yet we find that the complete opposite occurred. The Mishnah says in Avos, Asara nisyonos nisnasa Avram Avinu v'amad bikulam. Our patriarch Avraham was tested with 10 major life-altering challenges. It's not easy to pick up and leave your hometown at age 75 or to have your wife abducted by the authorities. And we cannot even fathom being commanded to slaughter your beloved child. Please think about this. Why was this necessary? Wasn't Avram Avinu the only one in the entire world who did not need challenges? After all, he was the only one who saw the truth. And the Medrash explains, Nisayon achar nisayon. Avram Avinu was given a test after test, v'gidulin achar gidulin, a growth process in order to keep growing. Why? B'shvil nasoison ba'olam. B'shvil legadlam ba'olam. Avram Avinu was not given tests because he was bad. He was given opportunities to prove his complete devotion and unwavering faith in Hashem in order to be propelled to unparalleled greatness. Because Hashem knew that Avram Avinu in his kishkis felt the closeness to Hashem, he gave him the opportunity to bring it out mikoyach el hapoel, from an idea into the practical world. Let's see how much you're willing to do for me. And through that, he earned schusim for the rest of his life and for all of his descendants forever. Authentic Yiddishkeit believes that by remaining steadfast to your belief that the difficult challenge that you are being presented with is being given to you by a loving God who cares about you and wants to bring out the best in you for your own benefit, that feeling, that understanding is in itself the vehicle that brings you to a closer relationship with Hashem.
Let's bring an example to prove the point.
True loyalty. The administration of the Greenwald University decided that they must somehow become the most prestigious institution in the nation. The board of directors came up with an ingenious idea. They would pay top students from all around the country to join their university program, and soon enough, they would acquire the title and reputation of the most prestigious college in the nation. Their researchers identified one particular student who they felt must be convinced to join them. If this key student would switch to their school, their plot would certainly be successful. They tried to recruit him, but his allegiance to his current university was strong. They offered him scholarships, a long-term teaching contract after graduation, health benefits, a home, etc., etc., but nothing worked. His loyalty to his professors and mentors was simply too strong, and he would not budge. When his current professors discovered his loyalty to their university, they honored him with the highest title, and they gave him all those wonderful benefits that he had turned down, and he immediately became a member of the school faculty. And now we can better understand our opening statement. Our sages don't tell us that Avram Avinu was given 10 life challenges merely as an interesting tidbit of trivia and history. Rather, it is to teach us a lesson. It is to teach us that all of the lofty spiritual levels that Avram Avinu reached were possible only because he went through those incredibly difficult challenges and passed each and every one of them with flying colors. So now we understand that the opportunity to be challenged like this was actually the chance of a lifetime being given and extended to Avram Avinu directly by Hashem. These challenges were not obstacles or disturbances to his growth potential. On the contrary, they are what carried him. They are what raised him. It was these very challenges that transformed Avraham into becoming Avraham Avinu, the great patriarch of our nation. Understanding and internalizing this concept allows us to begin to view challenges and difficulties as a gift, as an opportunity for us to grow and achieve spiritual success in our lives. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, listen, it's okay with me. Let someone else have this great gift. I'm not really interested in this beautiful gift that you got here for me, tests and challenges. But think of it this way. Giving up on your personal challenges means giving up on your personal growth and development, your potential, and thereby forfeiting your destiny of greatness. Is that what you really, really want? And now we can begin to understand why David HaMelech actually uses the word fortunate when he refers to challenges. In Tehillim, David HaMelech said, Ashrei HaGever, Asher Teyasrenu Ka. Fortunate is the one whom Hashem disciplines. Now wait a second. Did David HaMelech really say fortunate? The Pirush Eitz Yosef on the Medrash says, Be'emes Yisurim hu ha'oisher ha'amiti v'hatachlis ha'elyon la'adam ki ha'yisurim mitzarfim lev ha'adam u'mezachachai l'toiv. Yes, the truth is, if you really want to know the truth, are you ready for the truth? Here's the truth. The truth is that the pain and suffering that we all go through, the pain and suffering that you experience throughout your life, is what compels you to analyze your true self and cleanse your heart and mind to be true to Hashem. And the Eitz Yosef continues, you're probably thinking, if I had the opportunity to live in peace and tranquility, then I would certainly be able to dedicate myself to serving Hashem. So why is all this suffering and difficulty really necessary? Isn't it just distracting me from all the good that I want to do? And the Eitz Yosef continues, Yilmoid miteirasa yisbarach, ma shekara leha'avos, shehayu tzadikim gedolim, ubevadai b'shalvasam hayu oiskim b'chvoid Hashem, ve'im kol zeh, ba'a alehem yisurim v'loi hikbidu, ki yadu, ki l'toivasam hu. This can be found in the Holy Torah. Look at what transpired in the lives of our holy avos, our forefathers. They were completely righteous, and certainly they did not need any motivation to purify their hearts and minds. If they had been just left alone to sit in peace, without troubles and problems, they would certainly have spent all their time dedicated to spiritual growth. And yet each and every one of them constantly received painful, life-altering challenges, and they did not complain. Why? Because they understood that the only way to earn the title Patriarch of God's chosen people was to go through those difficult challenges and opportunities. Going through those painful difficulties was, in itself, the process that transformed them into patriarchs. As the Nesiv Shalom explains, Al Yidei HaNesyonos Hareyu Hoylech U'Mis'aleh, through going through challenges and retaining your belief in Hashem, retaining your knowledge that everything that is happening to you is good, Kol Mada Ovid Rachmanu L'Tav Ovid, going through the process of challenge is the process to raise you up, to be on a higher level. Authentic Yiddishkeit believes that a nisayon, a test from Hashem, is actually a challenge whose sole purpose is to give you the opportunity to bring out your potential buried deep within you and which could otherwise never be revealed. The physical world clearly teaches us that without challenges, a person cannot physically grow. A person who decides to build muscle must steadily work out and challenge his body, pushing himself beyond his current ability. The success of his muscular growth will be in direct correlation and proportion to the amount of resistance and strain with which he challenges his muscles. As the world says, no pain, no gain. There is no way that you will ever lift 300 pounds without first starting off with lifting 50 pounds and building up your muscles with consistency and dedication. Similarly, you cannot start off doing 300 sit-ups or 100 push-ups without first starting off doing the few that you can and consistently pushing yourself beyond your current capabilities, working hard to build up your muscles. It is common knowledge that you can't possibly reach your physical potential without going through the muscle building process. And that is precisely why people actually use their free time and pay good money to work out. People actually look for new ways to challenge their bodies in order to build themselves up faster because that is their goal. They say, wow, look what I found. This thing will actually really kill my body. I'll ache for days afterwards, but it's going to build my muscle quicker. They actually do research to find out where can they go to receive the best challenge. Why do they do all this? Because they know the more difficult the challenge, the more that they have an opportunity to achieve their goal of building muscle. So too, there is no possible way to become an emotionally and spiritually strong person unless you go through the muscle building process. With a proper outlook and a deeper understanding, life's daily challenges can be compared to vitamins. Although they may be very uncomfortable to swallow, their sole purpose is to make you stronger. As the Nesiv Shalom says so beautifully, Shelekol hasagoisav umadrigoisav higia Avram Avinu al yedei hanesyonos she'avru alav. Avram Avinu did not have an easy life by any stretch of the imagination, but it was specifically those life challenges that were the vehicle that carried him to his ultimate level of incredible accomplishment, becoming the father of Klal Yisrael and transmitting the ability to serve Hashem under any and all conditions to his offspring for generations to come. And the same applies to you. The Arvei Nachal says that the word nisayon actually has a dual meaning. It means challenge, but it also means to raise up. As it says, lift up your flag. For after you surpass your challenge, your personal flag is raised. And that's what the Nesiv Shalom says. Kol nisayon sheyehudi oiver, hu omnam kasha me'oid, ava ba'amidasai b'nisayon, hu nasa yoiser gavoya mikoidem, shehu ata Yehudi, shekfar ovar, nisayon kazeh. Every challenge that you go through is truly very difficult and painful. But overcoming your challenge will elevate you to a higher level, for now you are someone who has already conquered that previous level of difficulty.
Let's bring an example to prove the point.
Growing higher. When young Meir first started playing his new video game, he was overwhelmed by the challenge. And yet, after hours of dedication, he learned how to maneuver and not get out right away. As he finally reached the 6th level, he found himself facing a brand new enemy with greater power than ever before. However, he didn't give up. Eventually, he learned how to conquer the 6th board, and now he was a much better player than before, for he was a player who could conquer the 6th board. The greater the challenge, the more of an opportunity is being extended to you to grow quicker and to greater heights. And that should make you feel energized and excited to stand up and face the challenge head on. As Winston Churchill said, a pessimist sees the difficulty in every opportunity. An optimist sees the opportunity in every difficulty. And that's what the Nesiv Shalom explains. Zeu Seder HaChaim Shel Yehudi. This is the way of our life, of our world. Chaim haratzufim nesoyin achar nesoyin. Ach kol ze mevia l'nesoya u'l'iz'alois l'madregas gavoyos. You were put on this world for a reason, to grow. And since you cannot grow without being challenged, that is why your life is a process of going from one difficult challenge to the next, from one board to the next. And with the wrong attitude, these difficulties can get you down and break your spirit. Therefore, you must realize that it is these very difficult life challenges that raise you up and enable you to develop into a spiritually elevated person. Sure, it's so hard to say, yes, I believe in Hashem, I believe everything is good, I believe, blah, blah, blah. But when you're faced with pain, with problems, and you could still say it, that means that you're on a higher level that you can never attain unless you're faced with that challenge. In between life's difficulties and challenges is when you go through your routine and await your next challenge. The fact is, the weeks or months that you live without challenges are actually the times that you will grow the least, which means you will accomplish the least. As much as you look forward and hope to just not have challenges so you can get back to your routine, at the end of your life, the point was to grow, and in those routine days, you don't really grow.
Let's bring an example to prove the point.
Special chances. Moshe got a job at ABC Worldwide Corporation and received an annual salary of $100,000. The manager realized that Moshe could be trusted to do difficult technical analysis for the business, and throughout the year, Moshe was given special research projects to work on during his spare time. He received a $10,000 bonus for each special project. Each opportunity took 10 hours of his time, and he usually needed to work straight through the night, but it was well worth it. Between opportunities, he went back to being just a regular employee doing the best he could, as he waited anxiously for the next amazing opportunity. Looking back at his year, he realized that although he worked 50 weeks for the company at his regular pay, his huge savings account had really been filled due to the special difficult opportunities given to him from time to time. Those opportunities are what made him a rich man. When you look back at your life and review everything that happened, you will see a lot of regular time without much growth, and then occasional bursts of tremendous growth that will benefit you and your descendants. Those growth spurts come from the turbulent times of pain, difficulty, and challenges that you went through.
Let's bring an example to prove the point.
No pain, no gain. The karate teacher noticed one student who took karate very seriously. He decided to give this particular student a special opportunity to grow and skip ranks. When the student walked in the next week, the teacher told him that he would fight a huge kid from a higher rank. The kid was frightened, but the teacher assured him that he could certainly beat him. I know that you have it in you to crush this guy. The kid nervously entered the ring, but boy, did he get a beating. He complained to the teacher, I thought you liked me. What are you doing to me? Why are you punishing me like this? I am the student who was so dedicated to you. The teacher said, you have it in you to beat this guy and move up in ranks much quicker than if you just stick to the regular process. Go home and rest up, because next week you'll be back in the ring with that guy again. Week after week, the student fought, and he lost. But he never gave up. After many, many months of extra work and dedication, pushing himself physically and emotionally, the student finally realized that he can beat this guy. He conditioned his body and his mind, pushing himself harder and harder. He kept losing, but he didn't give up. But by the end of the season, he beat the guy and swiftly moved up the ranks. His teacher proudly said, "I knew you had the inner potential to beat him. You just needed to not give up." Let's review the story and see what we learned thus far. Question number 1. Why did the teacher pick this student for this golden opportunity? A, because he hated him. B, because this student always came late. C, because he knew that this student had the most ability. Let's think about that. Question number 2. Why did he make his prized student suffer more than the other kids? A, because his parents always paid late. B, because deep down he really hated this kid. C, because that was the quickest way for this student to grow. The Holy Zohar HaKadosh says, Uman deloy rachim leikutche berichu, salik mine teichacha, salik mine sharvita. When Hashem does not care about someone, that's when he takes away the challenges from him. When you don't care about someone, you don't bother to challenge them. If a teacher doesn't care about a student, he'll just leave him alone in the back of the classroom and let him rot away without learning a word. If a boss doesn't really care about a specific employee, he'll never give him the opportunity to earn his way up the corporate ladder. Conversely, the more you care about someone, a student, a child, or anyone whose growth you are responsible for, the more you will push him and challenge him in order to bring out his inner potential and help him rise even higher. And that's what the Kuzri explains. V'elikim nisa es Avraham al Nachain, l'hoitzi avaydasai min hakoyach el hapoel, lihoy zeh sibas toivasai. When the Torah says Hashem challenged Avraham, you know what it means? It means that Hashem decided to bring out Avraham's untapped potential into reality for his own benefit. And he earned that because of how special he was. Let's take a minute, if you're not too busy, and examine the most difficult test that Avram Avinu went through, and we'll learn so much from it. Avram was asked to sacrifice his only child, the one he had waited for his entire life. Now, to a normal person, this would have been a life-crushing, horrific experience that could possibly kill you or cause you to have a nervous breakdown. We would immediately run to the therapist and get some meds. And yet to Avram Avinu, this extreme challenge was clearly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to completely prove his unwavering loyalty to Hashem and to thereby connect to Hashem on a much higher level than he ever could have, if not for receiving this challenge. And therefore he woke up early the next morning with excitement. Avram would never have chosen to pass up this amazing opportunity for anything in the world. Some people spend their entire life mopping the floors of a huge multi-billion-dollar corporation, while others work their way up the ranks to one day run it. A person who is truly determined to be as successful as possible would surely welcome even the most difficult challenges so that he can reveal his inner potential and earn his stripes in the corporation and work his way up the corporate ladder. He would come home and say, I can't eat supper, I can't relax, I can't go out and have fun, I can't go to sleep early. I have this huge chance to prove myself to my boss and work on this project that he asked me to. Everyone enjoys going swimming and lying out in the sun, yet the achiever would laugh at someone who chooses to do that instead of working his way up the corporate ladder. And now we can appreciate the language of the previous Chazal. Asara nisyonos nisnasa Avram Avinu ve'amad bekulam. The common translation is, Avram Avinu passed through 10 nisyonos, and he stood up to all of them. However, why does it specifically use the term ve'amad bekulam, and he stood up to all of them? It really should have said, v'lo nichshal bohem, and he didn't stumble on any of them. He was given 10 tests, and he passed all of them. He didn't stumble. But what's the words ve'amad bikulam? He stood up to all of them. But now we could say ve'amad bikulam. Lo rak she'amad b'hanasyonis, ela she'amad al gabe hanasyonis, with the understanding that challenges is what makes you grow and become a more elevated person, a higher person. We can now understand that after you withstand the challenge, you actually are standing on top of the challenge, for you are a higher person than you were before.
Let's bring an example to prove the point.
Outstanding warrior. Andrei the Warrior was set to battle Romanov Bregadovsky, the strongest opponent he ever encountered. The ultimate display of victory came after Andrei knocked Romanov to the ground and stood on top of his listless body, thereby proving his complete dominance over his challenger. The 6-foot Andrei, now standing on top of his challenger, was now standing 7 feet tall. You must believe and internalize that every bit of pain and difficulty you ever encounter comes directly from your loving Father, who is sending you a custom-made opportunity designed for your maximum growth. And after you conquer the challenge, you are greater, stronger, and more elevated than you were before. So the next time something goes wrong in your life, realize that maybe something just went right.
Let's bring an example to prove the point.
Reality check. Shlomi had his whole week planned perfectly. Although he worked very hard to support his family, his schedule was still jam-packed with holiness. He davened at sunrise each morning, had several shiurim set up throughout the day, met privately with people going through various difficulties, and even delivered packages for Tomchei Shabbos. His life was set up from morning till night with great things, and he pushed himself to be really good. Reviewing his weekly schedule on Motzei Shabbos, all Shlomi wanted to do was get through the week without being thrown off schedule. After all, his schedule consisted of the maximum amount of Torah and mitzvos humanly possible, and he would never want to miss out on any of it. As he encountered trouble with his business and had to work around the clock for several days, he became very upset. Not so much about his business difficulties and the time that he had to waste trying to help his business, but because his beloved schedule of holiness was ruined and he had missed several opportunities to daven with minyan, learn Torah, and help other people who needed his advice. When he complained to his Rebbe that he could not keep up the spiritual parts of his day, he was shocked to be informed that his thinking was completely wrong. His Rebbe told him, "You don't know what you need more than Hashem knows what you need. You set up a schedule that you think brings out the best in you by doing all those wonderful things, and that may be true. But if Hashem wants you to have a different kind of week, then embrace it and recognize that there is more growth waiting for you this way. Just by accepting what Hashem gives you is the greatest gift of all." Authentic Yiddishkeit understands that life's difficulties are not a distraction that gets in the way of your real life. On the contrary, those difficulties and challenges are specifically what your life is really all about. It is your specific hardships and challenges that shape who you are and carry you to fulfill your personal mission in this world. As the Klilas Yofi once told the Nesiva Emes, the harder the ball is thrown at you, the more potential it has to travel. And the Nesiva Emes responded with a twinkle in his eye. Yeah, that's true, but you have to know how to hit it. So, my dear friends, step up to the plate and smash that curveball right out of the park.